There are many stories about Rossall, some true, some fictitious, and many have been lost. It is well known that Rossallians have plenty of determination and courage, and willing to take on a challenge and embrace an adventure. The following names have a connection to the school and in their time would have been known on an international scale. The Rossall schoolmasters, Mr Cust, Mr Colgrove and Mr Cawood, were three heroes of an amazing adventure. On the 23rd of July in 1876, after a year of planning, they set off on a climbing expedition to the Alps, with the sole purpose of attempting something no one else had ever done. They wanted to be the first to scale the Matterhorn, unaided, carrying all their own equipment and without guides. In the extreme weather conditions, they only had woolen shirts and jumpers, oiled cotton trousers, a hooded parka and leather boots to tackle this imposing mountain. The arduous climb left them tired and weary as they neared the top, but just imagine the joy and elation of actually reaching the summit safely. At the summit, Mr Cust scribbled down in his notebook, "The rocks passed and the mountain was clearly ours." The story hit the headlines and a newsboy was heard shouting, "Ascent of the Matterhorn by 3 masters of an English school." The honour on Rossall had risen in a most unexpected way. Long before Doctor Who, the time traveller, an icon of British fiction shone out from beyond the stars. In 1950, an exciting new science fiction comic book for boys was launched in full colour, The Eagle. The stories were set in the 1990s and followed the adventures of the hero Dan Dare, a futuristic pilot who travelled into space and the exotic world of aliens. Dan Dare, the fictitious character, entered Rossall School at the age of 12, where his high spirits made him popular amongst the other boys. Just like any other schoolboy, Dan liked to challenge and a dare. One of his pranks led to him climbing from the windows of the upper school to the clock tower steeple, an exploit that earned a harsh punishment from the headmaster. The stories were very popular amongst the young boys in the 1950s, who would rush out each week to the paper shop to buy the next instalment and find out how Dan would overcome evil through courage, resilience and integrity. You may have noticed in the dining hall that the walls are covered with fine oak panelling. The quartered panel behind the headmaster's chair on the dais is said to be from the oak tree that grew in the garden of the home of a very famous adventurer, George Lee Mallory. He was the English mountaineer who took part in the first 3 British expeditions to Mount Everest. Sadly, he never returned from his trip in 1924. There is a family connection with the famous adventurer and Rossall. 2 of Mallory's uncles were pupils at Rossall. Edward, who became a monitor, and his brother, Trafford, who left school to join the army. Their cousin, John Lee Trafford, was one of the first Rossallians to arrive at Rossall in 1844. These 2 quotes were found in George Mallory's papers. "If one should ask me what use there is in climbing, or attempting to climb the world's highest peak, I would be compelled to answer none. There is no scientific end to be served, simply the gratification of impulse of achievement, the indomitable desire to see what lies beyond the heart of man. It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. You must always remember you are stronger and more capable than you give yourself credit for. Never underestimate your capabilities."